Right. All right. So there we go. We're recording.
Hi.
So what I'm going to do is, because he wants this for badges. Hi, I'm Stephanie Watson. I'm going to be presenting on using Nearpod in the foreign language classroom. At this point, if you're watching recorded, just watch along and I'll be glad to answer questions via email, swatson@Stanford Central School, if you are interested in knowing more. At this point, the people that are participating live, if you would please open a second tab and go to nearpod.com, and I will be giving you a code to join as a student. So if everyone would give me a thumbs up if they see the code, that would be appreciated, whether it's in person or virtual. Thank you. Excellent. Has everyone joined Nearpod? And you can see what's going on? Beautiful. So we should all be looking at a screen that says Nearpod for World Language Classes. Our first item, I'm going to ask you to go through this as a student, but I'm also going to throw in the teacher perspective for you. So the first one is called a poll, and this is a great way to get all of the students involved and you can see who answers. So our first one is, what is your experience with Nearpod? I'm a pro, all the way down to I've never heard of it. If everybody would put in an answer, please.
Okay, can you give me the code again? Because I'm not there. Oh, wait, no, I put that code in. I see it up there.
It's up
I
in the
don't know.
corner. Did you find it? We'll give Aaron a second to get in.
Hold on, because I know they asked me a couple of questions here.
It should just be asking you what's your experience with Nearpod. And you can't, I think I do have it that you can answer more than one answer. Okay, Aaron is in and he's going to give us an answer. And now I can see on my screen, all of you have answered, and I'm able to share this poll out to you. And you can see the answers. Is everyone able to see that? When I'm in the classroom, I usually have the teacher controls on my desktop and I have the student view up on my smart board. So that's very helpful. So in today's workshop, we are going to work through a teacher created Nearpod. This is a Nearpod that I made for this presentation. We're going to discuss what the student experience is and how it can be used for live classroom, hybrid, and remote learning situations. And we'll determine if somebody wants something more, I'll be glad to help you out. On the other side of it, I pulled up some different lessons that Nearpod is already made and provided, so you can have samples of those. And I've got the codes in here so that, you know, today we don't want to be here till 6 o'clock, but if you want to go back and explore, the codes are here and you can explore more of these kind of lessons, from virtual field trips, the IPA style lessons, which is what State Ed wants us to go to. Old-fashioned grammar lessons. I'm not fond of them, but I know there are some grammar people here. There are FLES lessons. I like them for CI in my classroom. They're great for just doing that great visual and stimulating conversation. The grammar is real low, but the visuals are amazing. So they're really good for that. Even if you're not teaching young children, I've used them with Spanish 2 and 3. And then how to set up a substitute plan using Nearpod. And they're really great because they do the lesson plan and all the directions for you. And then I want to show you the Nearpod editing tools and what it looks like on the teacher end if you're making your own or you're taking a pre-made one and customizing. So this would be the beginning of my Nearpod for my students. Una visita al Museo del Prado. And I'd have the students read it and we go on from there. They may translate it, they may ask questions. For you guys, I know you all are fluent in Spanish, so I will just go with it. Always important to have the objectives in it. I'm kind of going quickly. I had to make this one as part of my workshop here at school. So the objectives are in English because to get certified that we could do this, they had to be in English. So here are, as a language student during class, I will investigate, explain, and reflect on pieces of art. At the end class, I will be able to explain and share my own reflections upon a piece of art. And then there are the ACTFL benchmarks. So this is the fun part. Go ahead and play with the airplane. I'm not sure what devices you're on, but are you able to play with the airplane? If you have an iPad, these are so much more fun than desktops, that you can move them around. I made one that I had the kids doing trains, and we were in Atocha, the train station, and we had a train that you could move around and walk through. So these are provided by Nearpod, and you can put them into your presentations. Cars, you can speed cars down. Le Mans, if you're doing French. All right, so this is where we're headed today. So it says enter the virtual reality. So you can click on that on your device and look around. And again, this virtual reality is provided by Nearpod. So you name a place, they probably have a virtual reality that you can put into your own Nearpod experience. Plus there are the field trips that they have already made up.
So that would be good for our Google Expedition sets.
Yes, it's much like that. So you can look all around. If you do the VR, you're getting more of the Google look. Is everybody okay if I go on? You can come back and play more, I promise. So again, I'm taking another poll. I'm making sure that the students have really looked at the place where we're going to visit. I tell them we're at the Prado Museum in Madrid. What surprises you about the building? Whose art will we see inside? So this is an opportunity for the kids to kind of engage, think about what might be in there. We can have a discussion about the sculptures outside, the size of the building. Have they ever seen anything? This is a great opportunity to ask those questions in the target language. So if everybody would make a choice. And so on my screen, I can see when the answers come in, and I can see what the answers are. You can either show the student names when you share, or you can hide the student names. So that's another thing that is really kind of nice. So in this one, we see that some people say Velasquez and some say Goya, and we can talk about, yes, those are all great answers. We are going to see art of those people, but who are we going to visit today? And so we have another virtual reality. So take an explore. And again, you can be asking questions about, you know, how many people are in the room? What animal is in the room? What year do you think these paintings were made? So there's a lot of good CI and questioning you can be doing with the virtual. The nice thing too is if a student is absent, you still can assign this and a kid can do it on their own. They're not going to get that intermix with you, the talk, but they're at least going to get the basic lesson, and they're going to get the basic field trip. I love to, you know, spin it around. You can, depending on your device, you can move in very close, you can move away. We talk about, are these people rich? Are these people poor? Are there young people? Are there old people? What are they wearing? What are their clothing? So there's a lot of opportunity here that, yes, we're looking at art, but I can also use it to reinforce vocabulary and conversation. Is everybody okay if we leave the gallery? I love to look in the gallery, so I always ask. Aaron's nodding, that's okay to leave the gallery. All right. So whose artwork are we seeing in this gallery? So we have to think back to all of those artists. And if you know who it is, you can put it in there. You can give me silly answers because at the end, I just want to show you what I see at the end, at the answers that come back and how you will have a good, basically documentation. Okay. Okay, so I have 2 out of 3 students. And again, I can tell them, I can see 2 out of 3 have answered the question. All right. And I can share these again with the student names or without the student names. With a single question like this, you know, I could show and I could say, let's look here. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely right. You got the answer right. And I can share it with names or without and give props to that student. When I give more opinion answers, I like to show all the kids' opinions and I just hide their names. So next we're gonna watch a video about, I love one of them said it's Las Meninas was in there. We're gonna watch a video about Las Meninas. Keep in mind what the narrator says. Is this an ordinary painting? What makes it special? I'm not gonna have you watch the whole movie here, but you can embed any video that you get from basically any source. It could be a video you've made, it could be YouTube, it could be anything.
For me, they came something about Trump. I don't know why.
There's a commercial. It's an ad before the.
Oh,
Oh,
really? Because I said I would want to be the one to play it.
no, they say here Trump is somebody else. I don't know
Yeah,
who
those
is.
are all Trump nominees.
Okay.
Oh,
It's-
that's not, I mean, that's not what I'm seeing on my screen. That's hilarious.
No, it's for I have 2 screens, so I can see one they have and one yours. So you have the meaning of it. And mine is basically the Trump with somebody that I don't know who.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I've never had that happen before. So my screen, you're not, you aren't really seeing my screen. You're seeing
Your own.
a Nearpod. My screen, if you look at your Zoom screen, you can see what I'm sharing, and then you have the Nearpod screen where you're seeing Trump.
I think it's what Mrs. Frere said. That is a commercial. Or it's a,
Yeah,
It's a commercial. It says that the video is paused on this device, so.
Yeah.
yes, because I've taken control of it. You can show you can have the kids watch the videos independently, which if you're at home remote is probably the best thing. Or you can show them that you are just playing them and everybody watches together, which is what I do in my room, and they're watching on the smart board. So after we'd watched the video, after watching the video about Las Meninas, what do you think makes this one of the world's best paintings? What did Velázquez achieve in this painting? So if you would just write me a quick little answer, it could be, I just want to show you how I would share student opinion. So if you want to write, I love this painting, I don't like this painting, anything that would give me an opinion, and I will show you how I show my students opinions. Great.
you put, did I?
All right. Awesome. I'm going to share them, and I'm not going to show names, but this, so you can see what it looks like without that. So here, our first share. Our second share. And our third share. And the kids like to see what everybody else wrote, and we take a little time, we comment and talk about it. All right, Padapensar, you're now an art critic. Take a few minutes, look and analyze the next work of art, look at the details. Critics use a process called DAIA, describe, analyze, interpret, and evaluate. This goes along with a virtual field trip that I take every year to the Cleveland Museum of Art. And this is what they have me teach my students before we go there. So this is their kind of my kids' introduction to what they need to know to be able to discuss art with the docent at the museum in Cleveland. So what is this picture about? Where is it taking place? How is it made? How is it organized? How does it make you feel? And would this be considered a successful painting? So we're going to look at a piece of art by Velázquez. There it is. I'm going to have you take a minute to look at Infanta Margarita Teresa in a blue dress. Thumbs up if you've seen her and you're ready to answer questions about her. Yes. So our first question. Answer the first question. And again, if you get it right or wrong, it doesn't matter because I just want to be able to show you the dashboard of what student answers look like.
I don't know.
Okay, we've got one student has answered 2 out of 3. My other students have answered 1 out of 3.
I don't know.
You don't have to know. I made you look at it very quickly. There's a lot of details in there. Muchos detalles.
Yes. Yo no soy detallista.
Y uno más.
I think.
Tengo respuestas.
So what I can see here is I can edit my answer. So this is what I do right now.
If you notice the picture in the top, you can actually open it up and look at the picture big again. The little picture floating at the top of your quiz is something that will open up and you can look at it large screen again. So I have one person that's finished the quiz. We have 2 people that are still working.
So Stephanie, for example, how do you control that the kid, kid they are different level of knowledge. So there must be one kid that taking longer that you have to wait for the kid, or maybe somebody's doing in a quick answer.
It's kind of the same as if you were giving, a couple questions in your classroom. You have to determine, am I going to wait for everybody? Or am I just doing this that will catch that person up in the discussion? Am I taking this as a grade or am I not? That's kind of a teacher kind of thing. Most of the time, my kids will answer all the questions. There again, it depends on the accountability part of how much you want to hold them accountable for. I know this says quiz, but this could also just be, a way to get them to look at a piece of art more seriously or to just do an informal assessment.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to share the answers. I like that we have all different answers, so you can kind of see where things came from. All right. And the last part, it's time to leave the Prado. Think about everything you've learned about viewing a piece of art. Before you go, share your impressions of the painting. So I would have them, again, write a whole, they come up, they look like the little pieces of Post-it notes that they would write their impressions, and I would share them without student names. Just in the sake of time, I'm not going to have you do that. All right, so please leave this tab open and return to the regular Zoom so that it's up there. I am going to stop this share. I'll come back to it, but I want to show you some of their things that they have created. So I'm going to stop this share and flip over to a different one so that you can see what the dashboard looks like from the other side. At this point, any questions about the student experience? Okay. So this is the teacher dashboard, and here is the very first one on the top row is the lesson that we just did together. That was my Nearpod that I created. In this, I put a whole bunch of other Nearpods. These are the ones I told you that you have the codes to get into and explore. I put in 2 virtual field trips. The one is Versailles and the other is the Sagrada Familia. The Adonde Voy and las secciones del supermercado are really FLES. They're made for the elementary level. But like I said, I love them as CI. The graphics are absolutely wonderful. It gives you something that you can use as a jumping off point with kids. Boot verbs, the first one in the second row is a true grammar lesson. If you've ever used Sway, it uses a lot of that where the kids are typing in answers and sharing answers by typing. Then the other 2 that are in here are more that integrated performance assessment that State Ed really wants us to go to. The first one, the French one, is about shopping for school supplies, and it's a little girl and she's showing all of her school supplies and what she's bought and what she likes and doesn't like. And so she's talking and then the kids are asking questions and the questions are really integrated into the video. And then the other one, Mexicano o Tex-Mex, is an article and it compares true Mexican food to Tex-Mex, what we're used to seeing in the United States, and how you can spot the Tex-Mex. This one is about a Spanish 2 level. So those I'm going to leave open for you to go in and really see the difference. If there's one that you particularly like to pop in and see right now, I'd be glad to open it.
I would love to see the boot verbs.
The boot verb ones? Yep. I'm going to do it as a preview. So, and again, you can do this as live participation where you as a teacher can move things, or you can do it as student paced and the students work through it in their own time. So in the preview, we really can't interact much with it, but so here we go. It gives the explanation just like a textbook would. There's the lovely picture of the verbs. And then it puts up the questions just like I did for you, and the kids can answer it. They've got some visuals to work with. And then again, you can share out the kids' answers. More key verbs. I'm going to go through quite quickly. I was hoping I get to the part. Here's the sway. So this is the part that they listen to the narrator and then they can answer the questions. So they will, this one is interactive that they can hear what's being said. I don't know if, yeah, let me scroll. So they can listen to the whole story. And then the practice. Here's the traditional conjugations. There they are in, and you can reset or save your answers. These answers all come back to you and are recorded, so you can use them for grades. If you want to put in your own things, you can edit anything that is pre-made, you can add to or subtract from.
So once I was looking for that, but I didn't see any pre-made. So for me, for example, I see that there's some subjunctive they're gonna teach soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of these on the side, there every grammar topic you can imagine, there are
I like it.
There are Nearpods for.
So if I can modify if I need it.
Yes, and I always am modifying them. There's parts that I like and don't like. I took a reading one that had a fabulous reading about Carlos Santana, and then I embedded his music and did a whole closed thing with one of his songs that I added to just a reading thing that they had about Carlos Santana. So you can do a lot of good things with that.
Which is good because I think in the reading exams, sometimes they do some singers that as a long read.
Yes, yes.
Long.
And they do have them too. If you look on the right-hand side, they're kind of by level that, you know, Spanish 2, Spanish 3. So that kind of gives you an idea of where you can find that stuff. You know, what
Stephanie,
it's good for. Mhm.
Stephanie, you sold me out. I think I like.
So what I want to do now is over here, I also want to show you, and like I said, I'm leaving this open. You can get to this through that other Nearpod, and I'll have you write down the code so you can get back in and you can play with all of these that I've pulled for you. I do want to show you up here, it has subplans. In here, this is really nice. It tells you exactly how to go about making a subplan and how to print it out and leave it for your substitute teacher to do. So subplans in 3 easy steps, what to do, and you can pick any subplan. I'm kind of going quickly because we're getting close to 4 o'clock. But the other thing I want to show you is where we were. So afterward, after taking that Nearpod, I can go to reports. And here's the one we just did. It tells me we're 3 students. And this is my dashboard. This tells me everything that happened. So it tells me who participated in the poll, that everybody participated in my poll. Not everybody participated in the open-ended questions, and the percentage of participation for the whole lesson. It'll also tell me the ratio of everything that happened. So I can look, I can see here how everybody answered for each question on the quiz. I can see my answers for our open-ended questions. And then the last one, the collaborate board, we did not answer. This is the one we skipped over, but I would be able to see that as well. And the nice thing is that you can see all student answers before they're shared. So if a student writes something that's horrible, offensive, whatever, the other kids are never going to see it. There's never that opportunity to not do what you're supposed to do. And these are all saved so that you can go back. And if I wanted to take a grade on participation, or I wanted to take a grade on a quiz, I can do that. So the other thing is when, oh, I can't edit this one because I don't want to lose your code. Let me just, I will go into another one and I'll edit somebody else's just to show you. When you go into the, I hit edit, this is what comes up and it shows me all of the screens. And I can add anything I want to them. So if I add a slide, there are 2 sides, content, and all of this content is includable and free beyond YouTube. So there's vocabulary, which is like flashcards. There's 3D things a lot of our math teachers use. Sway, if you're into Apple, uses a lot of Sway, virtual field trips everywhere. You can record audio, so it's your voice that narrates if you're having student do things. And then these are the other kinds of activities. I did with you open-ended questions. I did collaborate board, polls, quizzes. You can do a matching, which is like a concentration game with vocabulary, with pictures and the Spanish word, or if you want to do Spanish English. The same thing with the memory test. You're flipping over things and they're trying to match them up. Time to Climb is a competitive game, kind of like a Kahoot kind of thing that the kids compete against each other to answer questions. And Fill in the Blanks is a cloze activity. So you could use that again. I used it when like I talked about my Carlos Santana song, that they were listening and typing in the words as they heard them. So there's a lot of other activities you can incorporate in as you want to modify. So if I go through this one and there's something I don't like, I can delete it, or I can add more to this pre-made one. So I know that was like super, super, super fast to get us all in within our allotted time and done by 4 o'clock, because I know everybody's so busy, but I would like everybody, I'm going to stop this share and go back to my original Nearpod and have you answer my one last question, just so that I'm a good teacher and I've brought you full circle for closure. If everybody would do this one last collaborate for me. How can I use the features of this Nearpod in my class? What activities or tools sparked your interest? Would you like to know more? What makes this a valuable tool for both in-person and remote teaching? And is it something that you think you could modify and leave for a sub? So if you just give me a little bit of feedback, that would be appropriate, and it would bring closure to us. I'd be glad to answer any questions. If you want to pose your questions here, you're welcome to do that as well.
Stephanie, I already closed the Nearpod. Could you
That's
give
okay.
me the code again?
If there's anything that you would like me to answer, I'd be glad to. But the one thing, Daniel, if you want to take down on the screen share this code, that way you'd be able to get back into this Nearpod if you want to look at some of those examples that I posted in there and get the codes for them.
Can you write in the chat the code?
I would be glad to do that. No problem. Let me get down.
My screen is saying this collaborate board is waiting for teacher input.
Mhm. Oh, I got one already. I don't know why I'm not getting more than one.
I wonder if I hit refresh whether that'll do it.
Maybe. I know we left it open a long time. I've never left it open that long.
Oh, yep, that worked.
Okay. And there is the code if you want to get back into explore more resources. That should have come through in the chat.
I have an account for Nearpod to the school.
There's a lot that is free, but the school can buy, there's like different levels of Nearpod that they can invest in. And ours started with a social studies teacher that was doing the freebies, and she was like, this is the most amazing thing. And the training for schools, I believe if they buy a package, all the training and everything is free. And like I said, there's different levels of packages, and there is a lot free. And if you see things that you like, I can also share them out from my account to you to use. So here we go. We're going to take a look here. And I've approved them, so I can put them up for everyone to see. And I like that fact too, that I can look at them before I put them up. And then the kids, you can heart them if you like somebody's comment, their opinion, you can, and I like that part too. I have done one with my kids remote. It worked really well, but I was happy that we had done them in class before I did the remote one, because doing them together in class and watching the things pop up on the big screen all together, it's a lot of fun. All right, so how long does it take me to set up a Nearpod lesson? If I use theirs, I just basically go in and say, I want a live lesson or a student lesson. It takes a couple of minutes. If I want to create a lesson, it takes the time of finding my own videos. It takes the time of, it's kind of like making a Google presentation on steroids. So the more stuff you put in, the longer it takes. This one that I took my Meninas presentation that I made in that workshop, and I added the stuff to make it into your presentation. And I probably spent like 2 hours to modify what I already had and then put in the things for you guys. But they're there forever. Once you make them, they are always there. So that kind of answers that one. Anything else? Any other questions? Thank you for listening to me ramble. I hope it was helpful for you all. I'm going to end my screen share. Again, the code, all of these things I have open for like a month that you can get there. And if there's something that you want to look at or see more of, just shoot me an email and I'll be glad to send you a code for another one. Or I can look through what I have access to and try to get you access. Questions, answers? I hope it was helpful. I know we were really fast, but I wanted to make sure we were done by 4.
It was very helpful for me.
Oh, good. I'm so glad it was.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna try. If I need some further assistance or question, can I write to you an email or?
Oh, yes, yes, please do. Yep. Yep,
Because I
and
think
I'll put my email in the chat as well. So if you need to get a hold of me, you can.
So now where you work?
I work in Stamford.
I am Margaret'sville. How far we are?
Quite a ways, quite a ways. I'm closer to Oneonta. I'm about 45 minutes from Oneonta, where you're closer to Margaretville, Andes.
Oneonta is an hour from here. 45
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. So but you would take Route 10 around to get to Oneonta from Margaretville. Or would you take 23 all the way? If you took,
I use GPS. If I don't have GPS, I will get lost in my own house.
Stamford is actually at the intersection of Route 10 and Route 23. So when you put the GPS in, that's where we are. And 23 goes into Oneonta.
Okay. So I brought, I don't know if you know somebody in this school that's close by me. It's like Oneonta, but the name is a little more different. So Aaron, help me out there. What is the school that's in 28 that's beginning to be
Is it Delhi?
Otiana.
Delhi's on Route 10. Walton, Delhi, Andes, Roxbury, Gilboa,
It's
going around the,
beginning with the school. So that is only one.
Otigo.
Otigo.
Otigo is near Oneonta.
So I brought it to the teacher there, but she never brought me back. I don't know if somebody knows somebody there.
Otigo?
I don't know the Otigo Spanish teacher. Walton, I know the French teacher in Oneonta.
Because I work here as an only teacher, I like to sometimes, for example, like I told you, talk to people because I have a lot of idea, but to put it together, I need to talk.
Yep,
You know what?
That's what I love about this group is I know this one was weird because it's hard for us. We're just getting back from break and it's just the chaos of the season. Maybe in February, we'll have a larger group and we can do more of that. Just let's talk about curriculum. And before Mindy and I were talking about how we're just not getting through the amount of things that we normally do and how hard with your remote to really do CI. And and what's important to make sure the kids have. I like quality over quantity. What are the most important things that you're holding on to?
Well, we're gonna get the COVID vaccine very soon, so we're gonna have more freedom to get together, even with masks, but less stress. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, I would love to say after we all get our two COVID shots, and right now, today was the first day teachers are eligible. Maybe in May or June, we could actually have an in-person meeting that we all could get together in person and say, hey, I know you.
I don't know even how I don't know now how I can behave in person. Like I have to learn again that thing.
Yeah, all of our in-person social skills are gone.
Yeah, I kind of think it's going to be interesting when you get back into class. Well, I guess you guys have been doing it for a while, but I think those who have been doing the online classes are going to have to readjust to having kids in the class, and they're going to do some really silly things, and they go, oh, wait, I can just have the kids do this.
When our
Yeah.
kids were back in person after being remote for so long, it was interesting because I was like, I actually kind of like their little chatter, which last year I would have, said, hey, stop talking. It's nice to hear voices because they're all mute. They don't like to talk on remote settings. So
Yeah, the kids, they've kind of gone free range, and it's funny, even coming back from, we were just out for 2 weeks and back today, that at first we had the little chatter, and then they were just like, oh, we're so glad to be here, that they just dug right in and started working. And I was amazed, having been online, all of a sudden they were just like grateful to be in the building. So that's a nice thing. Daniel, are your kids remote or hybrid or in person?
No, I have from 5 days, I have 2 remote and 3 in class. I can show you right now my class with you.
Yeah.
So
It is.
Stephanie, since you're done with the Nearpod part, why don't we turn recording off?
Yep.
And then we're gonna have to figure out how